So
All
tell
right.
us about how you were as a child.
Hmm. Uh, I had a very fun, a very vibrant childhood. It was really filled with like playtime and great friendships, and my mom was super playful and she always like encouraged my curiosity. I was definitely a curious child. I had a
Wonderful.
lot of questions, and especially about the human body.
Yeah.
The other time I found in my childhood house books that had titles like "What is Death" and "How does the human body function?" and they were like children's books, and my parents told me like their answers weren't enough, and that I had a lot of curiosity, and I guess that's what's fueled like my passion for health and wellness now.
Fantastic. So it is like my next question was going to be that if you asked your younger self, was there a hint of what you would become now? But it seems like there was a huge hint at that time as well.
Actually, my younger self would have said a genetic engineer. I know it sounds sophisticated, but I've always wanted to be a genetic engineer.
Okay.
uh, Very fascinated by like science and genetics and what makes you unique. I even had lab kits and toys and books about, you know, that growing up. So I wanted to understand how the body works on a much deeper level.
Wow.
And I always thought I'd end up in that field, but then my passion shifted towards like health and nutrition as I grew older, and this is where I help people understand how their bodies function from like a more holistic approach.
Holistic approach. Okay. So tell us about some if there's some funny stories with regards to or any story regarding your childhood that you'd like to share. We'd love to hear about that. Like anything that sticks in your mind, like maybe who was your biggest influence in your life? Like,
A funny story: when I was younger, there's many funny stories. I was a funny child, like a funny clumsy child, so uh, I have a lot of funny stories about that. Could you like ask me about something a bit more specific, maybe? Like,
like anything that it could be related to your family, it could be related to your studies, it could be related to anything. Like we just want to hear some stories regarding Alexandra as a child, like anything that you'd like to share, that something that is still fresh in
um,
your memory.
okay, I can't really think of something right now.
Mhm.
Like, I can't think of one specific thing.
That's fine, that's fine. Now, who do you think that influenced you the most when you were a
Uh,
child?
in my career or life?
Life in general. Like when
Hmm.
you were a child, was there someone you looked up to? Like for example, I
When
used to look up to my this one young, older cousin of mine. I used to think
Yeah,
she's
I
so
see. I
cool.
see. Yeah, so I did have different people in my life who did influence me in different reasons. I definitely did look up to my mother because she is a boss woman. She's a working woman, and she's a great mom, and she's achieved like great things and have done things all together. Like, two kids in, she was doing her PhD. She never stopped working, and it was very empowering to see her thrive in what she does. And it definitely made it seem and feel like, as a woman, I can do it all. I can be, good at my job in my field, and also be a good mother and a loving wife, and all of these things. She made it seem easy and possible to be doing it all. I definitely did also have an older cousin who was influential, but in a different way. She was cool. She came all the way from Canada,
Exactly, exactly,
you know.
exactly.
So I
Yes,
wanted to
yes.
dress like her, and I wanted to speak like her, and I wanted to be
Yeah,
cool like
yeah,
her.
yeah. Exactly. Yeah, me too. That's exactly what I
Definitely.
was saying. I used to think that, wow, man, she's just so cool. But
Yeah,
so there's some relatability between you and me, that my mom is exactly the same. She was doing
right,
her PhD with 3 kids and completely working woman throughout. It was so empowering just seeing her.
right.
Exactly. And
It's
I
so
didn't
impressive.
even know that, in all honesty, I didn't even know that, women are not supposed to work, and these things I didn't even know. Like, only after I went to the US for my studies, after my class 12, is when the real so psychology and nutrition, how
Psychology.
how do these two relate, and tell us more about the correlation and all of that.
So these two fields, they complement each other in a really powerful way, because nutrition is about understanding how what we put in our bodies influences our health, right? And psychology is about understanding how your thoughts, how your emotions, and how your behaviors shape your well-being. And when I first did it, it was to be able to understand different types of people, know how to get through different types of people. But then in my practice,
Mm-hmm.
um, I started to see firsthand how
The
physical
changes
health,
came about.
gut health, and mental health are deeply connected. It's impressive how, for example, issues with your digestions can affect your mood and vice versa. And understanding psychology allows me to meet people where they're at emotionally, which is very important in and very crucial in building trust and in
Mhm.
creating very tailored and very individualized plan that people can stick to long term. So the two together just give me a very comprehensive view of health, and this is what allows me to maybe be holistic.
Absolutely. I think that's a very, very smart strategy. I have to say that, because this is a super strategy, because, the mental health, how it relates to gut health, because there's so much talk about gut health these days, that, and it is so important. So I'd like you to take over completely now and talk to us about, gut health. And before that, but what we are all curious about, what was that aha moment that you had, that, what, I want to focus on gut health, or what was that moment?
So the aha moment came when I started learning more about the microbiome. There was a time in my studies where research started to come on the gut bacteria. So, in general, in nutrition, we're taught that what you were taught about what you eat and how food transforms into the cells that make up your body. So, nutrition was very important in my studies. You were like, oh, so you are what you eat. But when I discovered that our bodies are actually made up of more bacteria than human cells. And to be exact, we are around 90% bacteria. Can you imagine? So that completely
Wow.
shifted my perspective. I'm like, we are more bacteria than humans. And the gut, where the majority of that bacteria resides, is so crucial to our overall health. And that realization made me focus more on gut health and how it impacts everything from your digestion to your mood, your immune function, and even your skin health.
Of course, of course. Yeah. Okay, wonderful. Now, functional medicine,
Yeah.
that's in mainstream. So what was your thought process like when you thought of choosing that path?
So I kind of slid into that path because when I first started, I worked as a clinical dietitian and I worked at hospitals, and I just kept seeing the same people coming back again and again for the same issues, if not worse problems. And I started thinking to myself, there is something wrong. We claim to treat people, we claim to heal them, but we don't. Like if you keep coming to a doctor for diabetes and you keep coming to a doctor for your cholesterol and you keep coming to a doctor for your blood pressure while they're putting you on all of these chemical medication, how are we actually making people healthier? And it was just a lot of different things. It was working at the hospital, it was the prevalence studies. You look at the percentages and you see that we're we're at a time where medicine is the most advanced, and we have the highest prevalence of diseases. We have the highest prevalence of skin cancer while we're at a time where we use sunscreen the most. There's something obviously wrong. And then I started working in an outpatient setting with doctors, and there's actually a functional medicine doctor back in Lebanon, where I'm from, who I'm eternally grateful for, because he was my introduction to functional medicine. So
Okay.
I had randomly applied to that job, and I hadn't even known that it was a functional medicine clinic. I thought it was just like an outpatient, like a polyclinic. And then I met up with him, and I remember that first time where we sat, he brought a blank paper, and he asked me, "Do you know how the mitochondria works?" And then he sparked up my fire, because I'm a biochemistry geek, and I was like, "Of course I know." And we talked about this, and we talked about the processes, and I worked closely with him for years, and I saw how people were actually healing for once. And that's how I got introduced bit by bit to functional medicine. That's a long time ago. That's, I think, around 2017,
Okay. Okay.
18. Yeah.
Okay. So after that, how has your journey been once you actually got introduced to it? So tell us about.
Then it went downhill. No, I'm just kidding. Um, uh, so you mean like what I've done professionally?
Yes,
Or,
yes, yes.
all right, so I worked with that doctor in that clinic for a few years. And there's a lot of personal education that you need to do, because once you realize that the system is broken, you stop trusting, you know, the majority of the studies and the things that are just being fed to you, the
Mm,
curriculums
mm,
in the universities and everything, the
mm.
program. So I've been on a journey of a lot of personal studies, a lot of personal research, all throughout. So it's a thing that I do. Like, I wake up every morning and I would read a few articles that are scientifically backed, but they're not the ones that are commonly found. So studying on my own was something that was really helpful to, like, advance me in my career, because a lot of people ask me, like, where can I study what you studied, where can I learn what you know. And it's very hard to explain that it's partly understanding how the body works, and partly doing your own studies and research, and it's partly experience and working with people.
Of course.
So I left Lebanon. I went to Qatar. I worked on a commissioning project, which was starting up a hospital. We tried to set up functional medicine there. That didn't work because hospitals are not ready. Although
Not
it was
ready
an
yet, exactly. Yeah, yeah. I cannot imagine them being all ready because, this is after all a business. You have to admit to it
exactly,
at some point in time that it is actually a business. And that is why, a lot of people are not actually focused that we need to heal people.
exactly,
Hence, like your question was, it was rightfully there that, why do people keep coming back?
right,
Because we just do probably just prescribe certain things to just suppress the symptom.
correct.
Yeah. So wonderful. So now gut is called the second brain.
Yeah.
So tell us about that.
So the gut and the brain are very deeply interconnected, and they're connected through a lot of ways, but mainly through something called the vagus nerve, which act as like a highway. Okay, imagine it as a very big highway of communication, and it's a highway that goes two ways, huh? It goes from the brain to the gut, and from the gut to the brain. So it's actually through the gut that most of our neurotransmitters, like serotonin, if you've heard about it, like it's called the happy hormone.
Happy hormone.
So
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
more than 95% of your serotonin is produced in your gut.
Oh
So
wow.
if you're
I didn't
unhappy or
know that.
depressed, and your gut is, dysfunctional, no matter how many antidepressants you're gonna take, it's not gonna heal you. Um, so what happens in your gut directly impacts how you feel emotionally. And if your gut isn't functioning well, your mental health will suffer too. And at the same time, proper nutrition and gut health are also crucial for your brain function, because your brain needs fuel, it needs, vitamins and minerals and all of that stuff to function, which is why taking care of your gut is very key, I would say, to maintaining a good mental health.
Wow, wonderful. Now, what was the most surprising thing that you learned about gut health? With your all your experience and your research and all of that, like, what did you think was the most surprising thing?
I think the most surprising thing that was like also another aha moment is how connected gut health is to every single organ system in the body. We always refer to gut health as just about digestion, right? But gut health impacts your immune system. 80% of your immune system is formed in your gut. It impacts your hormones. You know that all of your hormones are produced from cholesterol, yeah? And it impacts your skin health. So basically, your skin is the mirror of what's going on inside your gut. It impacts your
Wow.
cardiovascular health. But the biggest surprise is what we just talked about. The biggest surprise to me has been the emotional component. And you know how we said the gut is called our second brain. I've
Right.
really seen firsthand how improving gut health can improve mood, can improve anxiety, can improve mental clarity, can deal with ADHD, can it's a huge piece of the puzzle that so many people and so many professionals even overlook. And that was, I think, the most surprising thing for me.
No, that is true because I've been hearing that a lot. That that it is how it is related to your mental health. And initially, I was like, probably just like another gimmick, another thing that people have started.
Right.
But then, delving deeper and also speaking to people like you, of course, who's done so much research behind it, it makes a lot of sense because that's also why probably we call the gut feeling. I was listening to a podcast the other day
Right.
that
Yes.
yeah, they
That
talked
gut
about
feeling is true.
yeah, yeah, exactly, exactly. Wow, wonderful. So now, bloating and indigestion.
Yeah.
These are two like main huge areas of concern for so many people. Now, what
True.
do you think is the most common mistake that people make there?
The biggest mistake is simpler than you think, but the biggest mistake is that most people are not eating real whole foods.
Okay.
Convenience is king, right? So processed food, packaged food have become our go-to options.
Right,
But
right.
what people don't
Right.
realize is that this processed food is packed with additive, it's packed with
Mhm.
preservatives, it's packed with synthetic ingredients that can really wreak havoc on gut health. And on top of that, we're constantly exposed to stress, we're constantly exposed to toxins, we're constantly exposed to environmental factors that are further harming our digestion. So, eating fresh, nutrient dense foods is the foundation of good gut health, and this has unfortunately become a luxury for so many of us.
Very true. Very, very true. I think that's yeah. But I think as we talk more and more about how important gut health is, I think people are starting to take notice more, and I think it's slowly but surely happening. I feel so. It's thanks to professionals like yourself, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Aware-
Now,
Yeah.
leaky gut. That's
Leaky
something.
gut. Yeah.
Yeah, we hear a lot about these days. So, how do you explain this concept to someone who's very new?
All right. I'm going to try to break it down as simply as possible.
Perfect.
So, leaky gut is a condition where the lining, we've got a security system in our digestive tract. We don't want things to go in and out uncontrollably. So there are guards who choose what goes into your gut and what goes out into the bloodstream. So leaky gut is a condition where the lining of your intestines becomes damaged. And this will create very small gaps. So let's say it looks like that, and then there's tiny gaps or what we call leaks.
Okay.
So normally the lining acts like a filter. So it only lets specific nutrients pass, through, and it blocks harmful substances,
Hmm.
obviously, from going in or out. But when it's leaky, toxins, undigested food particles, bacteria that is in the gut, they can slip where? Into your bloodstream. And
Hmm.
what does that trigger? Because these are in a form, or there are things that are not supposed to be in your blood. So that triggers inflammation, and that triggers your immunity. It's going to be like, hey, guards, there's something here that's not supposed to be there, as if you caught, a certain infection from the outside. So you'll have inflammation and immune responses throughout the body, and that will lead to a lot of symptoms, which can be directly gut related, like the bloating, and it could also be fatigue. It could be weird food sensitivities to things you used to eat but no, now you cannot tolerate. And eventually, if it stays untreated for a very long time, your immunity, if it keeps fighting something that is chronically in your blood, it will trigger your autoimmunity, where your immunity will start targeting or hitting your own cells. So it can
Okay.
lead to autoimmune conditions as well. But it sounds scary, but the good news is that with the right diet and lifestyle changes, you can easily support the healing of your gut lining and you can restore that balance.
Wonderful. So I think it really boils down to lifestyle, basically.
Yes,
Yeah,
definitely.
wonderful. Now, emotions and stress. How do they affect the digestive system? I think you said that. Now, what are the tips? Give us some tips to manage that.
All right. So, interestingly enough, and there's a lot of studies to back that up, because we mentioned, stress and emotions many times, as you saw. We are emotional beings, and we cannot disconnect our mental and physical well being. The mind is not a separate entity, and how we feel is actually stored even in our bodies. So every single cell in your body has a memory. So when you go through something traumatic, even if you process it mentally and you go to therapy, your body remembers that trauma. Okay? So there's a lot of studies about how um, sudden loss and grief lead to vitiligo, for example,
Oh,
or
wow.
shock leads to type 1 diabetes in kids, or so that's just in general how emotions are tied to health. But stress and emotions, they trigger something called the fight or flight, which is our sympathetic nervous system.
Mm.
And this response tells us that we are in danger. It's not the time to sleep. It's not the time to digest. It's not the time to have kids. So that slows down digestion and leads to issues like bloating and digestion, and what doctors love to call IBS. All my lovely patients come to me with a diagnosis that's irritable bowel syndrome, as if they didn't know that their bowels are irritated. So when we're stressed, our gut doesn't function optimally. To manage this, the tips that I would say would be to focus on stress reducing activities, deep breathing, mindfulness, movement. We are meant to move. So when you're stressed, move. You see how kids, when they're nervous and they're stressed, they have zoomies, or dogs, when they're stressed, they just shake it off.
Right, right.
This is how we're meant to get rid of our stress. So regular movement is very important. And don't underestimate the power of a proper meal timing. So when you eat is very important. It's not just what you eat. So when you eat, and sitting down to eat in a relaxed state is very important. You need to remember that meals and eating is an activity on its own. Don't eat at your desk. Don't eat while you're shouting at your kids. Don't eat while you're watching a show. Don't eat while you're on the go. That rhymes.
I
You
know. I
need to
know.
consider eating a separate activity and dedicate time for it, and you have to be relaxed. If your husband pissed you off, wait till you're relaxed and then
I,
have lunch.
and then,
Don't do
yeah, that's what I was
very
just gonna
important.
say. It is like I have to enforce it these days. That
Or else,
no watching iPad, no TV, just eat.
mhm.
That's it. So
But we
these
do
are
it for our
things
kids.
that,
We don't do it for ourselves. And eating in a relaxed state is so important. Like we tell our kids, no screen time, just eat, and then you find yourself eating some leftovers off of their plate while you're running to pack up something in their
yeah,
room because,
yeah, yeah,
we need to remind ourselves to do it as well.
very true. Very, very true. Now, as a busy professional, how do you balance your work and wellness?
Listen, it's very challenging. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to tell you it's easy peasy. But for
No,
me, it's all about organization, and it's about having your priorities straight and prioritizing wellness. It's something that you prioritize. I schedule my wellness practices just like I schedule my work meetings, just like I schedule this interview with you. From meal prepping time, um, for movement, all of these are scheduled. Like, walking is on Mondays and Wednesdays at 7 p.m., and that's set. I will not take a meeting during that time because moving my body is as important. These are little things that I've learned to do. And
I think
also
that's beautiful.
having healthy habits in place um, help you. Like, for example, keeping a water bottle by my bed, keeping it in my bag, prepping my supplements where it would be most practical for me to take them, um, designating specific days for specific tasks are things that really help me stay on track. So it's about setting small, achievable goals. I didn't wake
Mm.
up one day and I was like, you know what, Alexa, you have to walk the talk. And then, I ditched everything and I became this whole new person. That's not how it happened. It was baby steps. It was very small things, but it was sticking to them consistently. And once I found myself easily doing, one of these healthy habits, I moved on to the next, and then everything just becomes second nature over time.
I like the fact how you talked about scheduling the part, because I think that
Yeah.
is where which something really needs to be learned. Even for me, it is, I'm very bad with this part where I know that I have to do certain things, but then a business call comes and that's it. But then
You
I'm
know
like,
what?
but like you said, I like that part which you just said, that I'm not going to take business calls during that time or anything related to work, because that is
Yeah.
my movement time. Because it is
You owe
true
it to
that,
yourself, and you can never pour from an empty cup. And as long as you keep it for randomness, it's never going to happen. So whenever you have 30 minutes, you're not going to be like, oh, let's put on my gym clothes and go for a jog. That's not going to happen, right from the
right.
get-go.
Yeah,
Unless you're used to doing it and your body starts asking for it because it's craving it.
correct, correct, correct. So what are some of
So,
these like unconventional health hacks that have really like worked like wonders on you, given that, like,
hmm.
I
So,
know that scheduling could be a hack.
yeah.
I was just thinking.
So aside from like the basics, obviously like getting enough sleep, drinking water first thing in the morning, they sound basic, but you don't know how many people don't do them.
Most
Um,
people don't.
exactly. I've
Yeah.
I found that staying in tune with my body's signals like hunger, and satiety is very important. So don't force yourself to eat just because it's time to eat,
Hmm. Hmm.
for example. Also, taking time to ground yourself. Grounding is considered one of these fads. Like mouth taping and grounding are put in the same category, but grounding is actually going back to basics. It's just walking barefoot in nature. You have no idea how important it is to connect to nature. I live in the GCC, so I'm nature hungry all the time, and it affects me more than you think. So if anybody lives anywhere where they have nature around, go walk in that park, sleep on that grass. It really helps me reset.
Right.
And
Right.
lastly, I guess incorporating herbal teas or like adaptogenic herbs
Right.
to help with stress, they made a huge difference. Like I have some tea blends at home, and one is like my feminine balance and feminine energy balance, and the other is for positive energy, and the other is for like digestion. You know, like you see them commercially, but they're just some blends of herbs that I
Different
made.
different herbs. Yeah, yeah, correct, correct. So which one do you like, any two herbal teas you want to recommend?
Um, so ginger is something that like I never is never out of the house. Um, but I love dandelion tea. It's great for detoxification. It's a great liver support, and it helps with water retention as well. So
Mm.
that's one that I love. Um, Another blend of tea is chamomile. And a secret that I do is basically adding star anise to my teas because
Oh
it's great for,
wow.
it's a very good antioxidant, and it's so easy. Like you grab a star anise and you put it in your cup. That's it. That's all you need to do. It's so
Wow,
good for,
okay. This
gives
is
you
a
like
this
a,
is a big secret, I think.
yeah, I
Yeah,
know
yeah.
because people,
Sure.
I'm sure you walk around the spice market and you look at it and you're like, whoa, pretty spice, but you never think to have it at home. And it's so versatile. Like since I got it, I use it in everything.
Wow. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. So a small piece of advice that you think that you would have given your younger self on gut health.
I would give it on health in general. Yeah, it also affects gut health big time. I would definitely tell my younger self to trust my body more. I would tell her you don't need that antibiotic or painkiller every time something feels off. I would tell her that your body is powerful, it knows how to heal, but it needs the right nutrients and rest. And also,
Wow.
I would remind myself that that's another thing that's not really, it is also related to gut health actually, but I would definitely remind myself that excess weight, which is something I've dealt with at a point in my life. So I would tell her that excess weight isn't an issue, it's not the root issue, it's a symptom that the body is using to tell you that something deeper is going on, and addressing those imbalances will help bring your body back to harmony.
Wow. So it's more related to anti-inflammation, you think? Inflammation?
Weight, obesity is an inflammatory disease for sure, but weight imbalance is related to a lot of things. Leaky gut is one of them. Inflammation is definitely at the root of almost all the diseases. um, Obesity is also related to nutrient deficiencies. If you lack iron, if you lack vitamin D, your body will never let go of that weight. If your digestive enzymes are not functioning, the body will not let go of that weight. If your hormones are out of whack, your body will not let go of that weight. You know, if you're not sleeping well as well, there's so many things we can
Hmm.
talk about. um, Weight management for years.
Oh, I'll connect with you on that one later on.
Sure, whenever you want.
Oh, yes. Now, what's the most rewarding part of your work?
The results are absolutely the most rewarding part. It's the feedback from my patients that
Of
really
course.
fuels
Yeah.
me every single day. When I hear that an autistic child is attending regular school, or a cancer patient no longer needs chemotherapy because the lesions have disappeared, that's what makes everything worthwhile. Watching a woman reverse PCOS, or a couple finally conceive after years of infertility, or even seeing a cardiac patient's calcifications disappear. These are the moments that remind me why I do what I do.
Absolutely. So fulfilling. Amazing, amazing,
Oh,
amazing.
yeah.
Tell us a little bit about your social media now.
What would you like to know?
Like, when did you start? What did you think of that? And, talk to us about some interaction which you've had with your followers, with your fan following.
All
And
right. So, social media was something that's always been on my mind. Um, it's it has become the most common method of communication. It's how people get to know you and get to know that you exist. And over the years since I started practicing, I've had this a lot where people would tell me, you need to be on social media. There are people suffering elsewhere and they don't know that you can help them, that you exist, right? So you need them to know. There's a lot of awareness that needs to be built around functional medicine. There's a lot of education that is required. But talking about health and health conditions online is very tricky, right? Because you need to convey a message within 30 seconds to a minute, and it can't be a half message. You can't say something wrong, you can't overgeneralize, and you can't be over specific. So it's very tricky, and it took me a very long time to feel confident enough to be on there. And it happened very randomly. I haven't been on social media for a long time, actually. Last August, I was visiting my friend for coffee, and then her boyfriend at the time, who's now her fiance, was like, he's an architect, but he runs like a photography studio, and we were talking about it in general, and she is into like social media and stuff, and it was a very random conversation of like, why don't you post videos, like, and I was like, I don't know, whatever, and he was like, you choose 12 topics, you prepare content for 30 seconds, and I will be at your place on Wednesday at 7 p.m. and we're recording these videos. And I was,
Wow, that's
and I
fun.
thought he was joking.
Right.
Um, and he shows up at my door with the kit, with the cameras, with everything at my doorstep. And he was like, are you ready? And I was like, no. He was like, all right, just get ready. He gave me the time. I actually chose 12 topics from the top of my mind, wrote them
Yeah.
down, sat on my couch, and just improvised. So it was like, sleep. Let's talk about sleep. One shot, one kill, no cuts, no breaks. And I posted that first batch in August, and people really related with the content, I guess. And it was educational for them, and I saw like really positive interaction. People wanted to know more. They started in the comments suggesting different topics. So I made it a mission to once a month sit on that couch and talk about 12 different topics that my like my audience has asked about. And this is how I am where I am. And then I started reaching more people who wanted to consult with me and do one-on-one session. And this is basically what I do at the moment. I only offer one-on-one consultations, but hopefully soon there will be courses, there will be workshops, and so many more things to come.
Fantastic. Wow. Isn't it amazing when a friend actually does that for you?
Oh
Like,
yeah.
sees your potential and you're like, you know what? No, you just have to do it. That's it. And it's
You just
amazing to
do
actually
it.
take that leap. Yeah. It's,
Yeah.
we all are glad that amazing that, that you actually took that leap and
Thank you.
we are here chatting about your experience. So
It's
wonderful.
a You're right. Taking the
Exactly.
step is very important. Like, look before you leap, but just leap, because the truth is that you're never ready, you know? Unless you're a multimillionaire and you've got all the money in the world to have the perfect team to do it. It's not going to happen unless people who really believe in you support you, and most importantly, you believe in yourself and you believe in the change that you can make into this world, and you start. Definitely don't have the fanciest practice at the moment, but it's going to come, with the right support and the right
Of
experience.
course.
It's
Of course.
it's
I
changed
believe
so
that.
much since August.
Exactly. So I think it's all a mindset,
Oh
I
yeah.
believe all a mindset. I don't think even if we have $1 million, maybe even if we have the team, nothing can be if I don't have the mindset, it wouldn't happen.
Right.
If I don't have the confidence in myself that what, I'm just here to share my message, then
Right.
it still wouldn't happen, because it has been a step for me as well. I used to have like a million thoughts in my mind that, oh, what, yeah, what, yes, no, and I was like, you know what, no, let's, like, we'll chat, we'll talk, we'll figure it out. But yeah, and then I also realized that right now in the age of bots, vulnerability is strength.
Oh
Authenticity
yeah,
is king, it depends on how authentic you are and how true you can come through. That really will always stand out,
you're right.
no matter what.
You're right.
So I
That's what
think
I try to hold on to, like being myself. Like
exactly,
this is who I
exactly.
am on screen, off screen. This is it. You know,
Yeah,
this is all
yeah,
it.
exactly. And I think that's just super important these days. That's
Yeah.
even more and more and more important because of we don't know how AI will actually take over till they actually like start cloning another one of me and you. We wouldn't know
That's
exactly
true.
what's going on. So let's just be like more and more ourselves is what I feel like,
As long as we can.
as long as we can. Exactly. So wonderful. Now I'm going to jump into some rapid fire with you.
All right.
Okay. So what's the first thing you do in the morning when you wake up?
I open up the blinds for direct sunlight. Never turn on your artificial light in the room so your body knows that you're awake. And then I drink some water because hydrating first thing in the morning is very important to kickstart the metabolism. And you hydrate your body because you've been, sleeping for at least 8 hours.
8 hours.
And
Yeah.
how you get your digestive system moving.
One food that you can eat every day.
Carrots and hummus every single day. It's a very satisfying combo. It has the fats, it has the protein, it has the fibers, and it's so easy to prepare and nourishing as well.
Any guilty pleasure food?
Yes, French fries.
Oh,
They're so
yeah,
crispy and salty and
I
comforting. I know it's
know.
not, but
Yes,
they're fried. I use olive oil if it makes a difference, but they still can be inflammatory because of the cooking method, and they do cause digestive distress if you eat them too often, but I love them.
well, that's why it's called guilty pleasure.
Yeah.
You- oh well. Now, what's your biggest pet peeve?
My biggest pet peeve. It's when people don't prioritize their own health until they reach a crisis point. It's so frustrating because many and most actually of the issues they face could have been prevented with very simple and consistent self care.
Very true. What's your go-to stress relief activity?
Deep breathing.
Oh,
Breathing. That thing where it's very easy. You can do it right now. You breathe in from your nose for 4 seconds, you hold it in for 7, and you let it go from your mouth for 8.
yeah,
All you need is 3 simple breaths before you sleep, while you're in the car. It's very simple, and it's very effective to calm your nervous system and to manage stress and activate your parasympathetic nervous system and give you like a sense of calm.
it does. It does. It's so amazing. I wish, like, more people actually did it. I mean, I do it
Yeah.
because, just as part of my spiritual practice as well, to just stay
Okay. So
calm.
we reached an era where even breathing is being done wrong. Can you imagine? People don't breathe anymore. Breathing. So we need to remind ourselves that we need that oxygen in.
That is true. That is true. Now, give up
Well,
coffee or give up chocolate.
uh, I'd rather give up coffee. They both have benefits before anybody attacks me, but coffee is a bit too stimulating for the nervous system, and it may contribute to adrenal burnout over time. And dark chocolate, if used in moderation, actually does have gut benefits, and it has prebiotic fiber content.
Oh, wow. Okay. Now, one book or podcast that has changed your life.
That's something I talked about with you earlier, and there's a book called Your Body Keeps the Score, and that's what I was telling you, that the body stores the traumas and everything. It's a book by Bessel van der Kolk, and it was a game changer for me. It really opened my eyes to the connection between trauma, mental health, and physical health. Love the masterclass podcast on gut health. It's it's really packed with like expert knowledge on how gut health influences everything from the mood to immune function and everything we talked about today.
One supplement you think most people should take?
One supplement, magnesium. One
Like,
supplement I think most people should take. Do you want like one word answers, or would you like me
sure,
to like
sure, sure. No,
so
sure.
magnesium is a powerhouse mineral. It's a water hungry molecule. This is what gets the water inside of our cells, and this is what people don't understand. They tell me I drink so much water. Yeah, but your electrolyte balance and mineral balance is as important. Magnesium helps with sleep, it helps with muscle relaxation, it helps with stress management. It's essential for hundreds of processes in the body. And today's, fast-paced, stressful world needs magnesium supplementation, and it's often a game changer for a lot of people.
Wow, that's amazing because I just very recently incorporated it. So
Yay!
so everyone can have it like at any time. Like I take it before I go to sleep. Is
Like,
that the right time?
so there's so many types of magnesium. I have so many posts about magnesium because it's a bit tricky. If
Mhm.
you don't have any chronic health conditions, like you're generally healthy, you need to think about what is your priority. Like, is it your gut? Is it your blood sugar? So, you can check on my page. I've got like a post where I put each type of magnesium and when to take it for what between citrate, bisglycinate, glycinate, threonate, malate. All of the different types are there.
Oh,
That,
okay.
that would be another interview.
Oh,
Magnesium
okay. So if you
is
had to
huge.
describe yourself in 3 words, what would that be?
Describe. Oh, I hate talking about myself. Okay, but that's true. Like I would say, I'm very passionate. I'm empathetic and dedicated.
Of course. Fantastic. If you could swap places with a celebrity, who would that be? This is a fun question.
Mm, okay, I'm gonna shoot for the stars. I would choose the president of the United States of America,
Oh
not
my
for
God.
the fame, not for the power, but because I'd love to lead a movement towards making the nation healthier. The impact of that would ripple globally,
True.
because other countries look to the US as a
To
model.
the US.
And what it prioritizes in healthcare, food
Right.
systems, and wellness often influences our global policies everywhere else in the world. So it would be amazing to drive real positive change on a national scale and influence a healthier future worldwide.
Fantastic. One superpower which you wish you could have.
Mm, one superpower, so many.
Then talk about
So
the football.
let me wait. I want to think of something that you know I think the superpower that I would choose would be the ability to instantly know exactly what imbalance is happening in someone's gut without
Oh,
needing to run extensive testing, because at the moment we need a map of your gut to know, like, if it's a what's going on with respect to inflammation, which inflammation markers, the digestive enzymes, and the families of bacteria. So we'd save so much time, and like, imagine how much faster we could start working on
I know.
target. If I look at you and be like, you need some Saccharomyces boulardii, you're high on Akkermansia. I wish I could do that.
Wonderful, wonderful. Now, what's next for Alexandra?
What's next? uh what's
Are
next
you
with
thinking of
respect
writing a?
to
Are you thinking of writing a book? Are you coming up with a show? There could be so many things with your, amazing
uh,
potential.
give me ideas.
Well, there are so many of them. With your, amazing potential, you could, start a full-on podcast. There's a book that you could write. There's a full show that you could do. There are so many things. I'm sure you're going to do all of them.
So hopefully I'll be able to do all of them.
Absolutely.
Right now I'm going through big shifts in my own life, so I'm just focusing on one-on-one with
Mhm.
my patients because I want to give them like, enough quality, enough time and all
Full
of that.
attention and all that. Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm going through a very transitional period. I'm shifting from working at a center to working fully operating on my own, opening
Oh,
my own
yeah. That's a
company.
shift. That's a
That's
shift.
it.
Yeah, yeah. That's the shift.
I'm
That's a shift.
moving countries as well. So I'm moving to the other side of the world. So
Oh, you're
I have a
moving
lot of
countries.
things.
Where are you going to?
Yeah. Could you take a wild guess?
United States?
No, close enough. I'm going to Canada.
Lebanon? No. Oh, you're going to Canada? Wonderful.
Yes.
You love it.
Yes.
Where in Canada?
So I'm going to Montreal.
Oh, it's
I'll be
beautiful.
living there as of August.
Beautiful place. Oh, wonderful. It's a
Yeah.
beautiful.
I've been for vacations and I'm very excited. And it's gonna be like a big shift, so you can imagine. And I just got married last month, so a lot of things are happening.
Congratulations.
Thank
Oh my
you.
goodness. Wonderful.
So yeah, it's a very transitional period, but I definitely have a lot in mind, a lot of ongoing projects like on the side. We're working on an AI application for people with gut health, working on a, um, a course basically also on gut health. I'm focusing a bit on gut health so I can run a proper foundation for people to know, the
Yeah,
terminology and what
yeah,
we're
yeah.
talking about, and then we'll dive deeper. Um, the course will incorporate like movement, through Pilates and stuff, and also
Wow.
information. I'm thinking about a course. I don't know if it's going to be a course or more of an intensive program that we're going to do together towards detox. And I'm not talking about cleansing, I'm talking about detoxing everything in your life, from your relationships to your kitchen to your bedroom to every single thing. And each will be a chapter, and
No,
we'll
we are
do it
talking
together.
that's holistic.
That's
That
holistic.
is
Yeah, it's
yeah,
the air
yeah.
you breathe inside your house and the cloth you use to, do the dishes, and all of that will be in that course, which
Wow.
will be done in like real time, very slowly. I'll be also suggesting brands that people can, resort to. And I have so many ideas. These are things that are already like into work. Like the course material is already, the detox workshop is already in place. There's already discussions around the gut health um, workshop as well, and the application is already like almost ready to use. But other
Exactly.
things I leave them as a surprise because it's just talk, and I
Of
don't
course,
like to
of course, of course. We'll
happen.
follow you and know more about them. Now, what's that one message you have for this platform that you want to leave us with?
Like a takeaway from this interview.
Yes.
So the key takeaway would be that health is very personal and it's not a one size fits all. Your body has its own story to tell, and you are the best person to understand it. You are your best doctor once somebody teaches you how to understand and listen to your body. Professionals like myself are here to empower you to listen to those cues, and we're here to give you the tools to truly heal. So it's never just about masking symptoms, but it's getting to the root causes of health challenges, and that is where real healing happens.
Wow, I love this message. It's such a profound and beautifully put message.
Thank
Thank
you.
you so much. Just one
Thank you.
last thing. I loved talking to you. It was wonderful. But I would love for you to say a few words about Global Influencers Hub as well. So something that you thought about, something that you think about our platform.
So I'm actually very honored and very pleased that I'm being interviewed today by global influencers. It's a very interesting idea to maybe uncover the mask, on influencers, because people see us on the screens with pre-recorded things, and even the stories, like we show a side of us that we want to show.
Of
So
course.
global influencers being out there and uncovering the true nature of influencer, how they talk and how they speak and how they um, you know carry themselves. And also it's interesting for me to be asked about things beyond what I do as a professional, because I get interviewed a lot, but it's always about take information. And it was really thoughtful to think about my childhood, ask me about me as a person, as who I am, because it's good to remember that you're a person too. And it's good to
Of
have people like influencers remind you of that, and actually care about that as well.
Wonderful. It was
So
so
best of luck.
nice talking to you, Alexandra. Best of luck to you
Thank you so much.
because it was wonderful talking to you. Bye
Take
bye.
care.
Yes, you
Bye.
too. Bye.